Hello everybody, thanks for joining me and welcome back. I just wanted to share some thoughts about shutter speeds today because I've been asked so many times in the last couple of weeks, what shutter speed are you using, Amanda? And the answer to that is 1 second most of the time. Occasionally I will go to a faster shutter speed, probably no faster than about a 15th of a second for me now. And sometimes I will go to about 3 seconds. And I'm going to explain to you in a minute some of the thinking behind that, both the creative thinking and the practical thinking. But before I do that, I'm going to say my shutter speeds are not going to help you. Understanding the choices will help you. So this is the start of that. I can't go into huge detail, we'd be here for hours, but let's just have a quick look at these images because I stood here deliberately the other day and took these. So here we are, all within about 15 minutes of one another, probably less. That was the first one. This is the second one. As you can see, exactly the same place. There's that little pool of light that you can see here in the one below. There's the sun coming down through the tree canopy onto the track, which is at the back here. In both those images, there's the sun again. And in this last one, unfortunately, I had moved a little bit. I didn't realise that's what I'd done. But as you can see, we're in exactly the same place. There's the sun again, and here is that pool of light. So how on earth do these images all look so different? Because they are all on 1 second shutter speed. I have changed nothing else in the camera. I've just accidentally moved about 3 paces sideways in this direction, which was not intended. But as you can see, exactly the same place, exactly the same time. Okay, so let's just think about this. The one at the bottom looks slightly different because the light has changed. So this was the light when I was either just arriving or just leaving. I can't remember which. It was one of those mornings where it had been quite heavy and dark and the sun was just starting to come in and out a lot. We'd had some rain. So rain saturates colours, which was making the colours come through stronger as well. So they're all on a second shutter speed, but it's what you do in that open shutter that matters. And I think that's the point I'm trying to make. So here we are on the bottom one. This is a slight pan upwards and pushing into the scene. If you've read my book or watched some of my other videos, I will have already talked about that. On this one, I have made a very intentional movement forward. Sometimes people think when they see this that I've twisted the camera off to one side. I haven't. The movement you're seeing is me rocking my body. And this final one is a very gentle pan upwards. And you will get a different effect if you tilt the camera upwards to if you raise it upwards. And in this image, I have used my breathing the camera up, floating the camera up, which I've talked about before. And that is how I've got that effect. So the 1 second shutter speed, as you can see, is not going to help you. And it's the thing that you do in the shutter speed that matters, not the shutter speed itself. So if you just hold on 1 second, we're going to look at another image and I'm going to talk to you about that. So quick flick through the screen and I have found this one for you. So I was sitting on the grass one day opposite the cricket ground and this lady came along on her bike and I thought, wow, I love the colour. Look at the colour of her shoes and the bike frame. And I knew that there was this blue, I can't remember what it was. I think it was a van parked there with the green of the grass behind her. So in this instance, I would not choose a 1 second shutter speed. You could do it and it's perfectly possible to pan at 1 second, but it's making life terribly difficult and I'm certainly not very good at it. So in this situation, I will always speed up my shutter. So knowing me, I don't know what the shutter speed was. I have to find the original image, but knowing me, if I was there in this moment now, I would have turned that probably to about 1/15. But the other important point to make is when you are on a longer lens, it's much harder to control the movement. So you need to make less movement to get the same effect. The type of lens you're using is going to really trip you up if you're not aware of that. So a longer lens, just as in all other photography, is going to make camera shake show up. And that also means that with intentional movement, you're going to need to make less of it to get the same effect. So I would have pushed in towards the frame to get the effect a lot less than I would have if I was on a very wide lens. So I hope that kind of helps you. If you want to have lots of time to make multiple movements, you need loads of time to do that in. So a second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds is then ideal. But if your subject is in motion, you've got to match the motion, you've got to counteract it to a point, and you have to be aware of the effect of your lens length as well. So I hope that helps. I will hopefully see you next week with something new. If you have any ideas or things that you would like me to share, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. And don't forget that I will be speaking on Conversation in January, the first of a 3-part series where we'll be exploring energy, colour and light with camera movement and creating some of these images. So I really hope to see you there, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now.